we're almost done for the day, so I do have a special that I wanted to do today. And
I don't know.
are you guys ready for this?
So
You ready?
Yeah, let's
Yeah.
do
So
it.
I wrote special in the notes because I didn't want you guys to know what we're doing. So I did talk this over with Mike a while back. Something I wanted to do on the show, and we're gonna do that today. We are gonna do
Okay.
video game 20 questions. I have a
Oh,
game
jeez.
Oh,
Oh, God.
okay.
Oh,
that's
God.
already in my head that I know, and you guys need to find out within 20 questions. So, for those of you who don't
Wow.
know, basically, it's like 20 questions, but it's video game theme. Basically, they need to guess the video game that I'm thinking at right now. You have basically 19 questions to figure it out, and in that last question, you need to guess the game. If you don't guess the game, then you lose. So it's teamwork. Go ahead and brainstorm amongst each other. Uh, just don't ask the question unless you know. And of course,
Okay.
they have to be yes or no questions. You can't do any of that stuff. Alrighty.
Oh,
So
dang. Okay.
let the
Only yes or no
games
questions.
let the games begin.
I think we might want to start with if it's multiplayer or single player to see what kind of time frame we're in. Because like nowadays everything's multiplayer, or if we're dealing with an old game, it's
well,
single player.
if I know James, it's gonna be a JRPG. So I think the best thing to ask is it a JRPG?
Are you asking the question or is that
No, 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 I'm discussing.
okay?
Like
I mean,
I
I think
I
that's a
think
I
good
think
question to ask.
yeah, that's
yeah,
probably a good question
Yeah.
because if so, then it's you two on this. So
yeah.
Hey, what's up,
Well,
Marty? Big shout out to you here also, and thanks for streaming us with us last time. Um, yeah, but yeah, go ahead, guys.
So is it a
so,
JRPG game?
yeah, we'll ask
No,
it.
it is not.
It is not
Oh,
a
okay,
JRPG.
good,
Okay.
oh,
good.
okay.
That's
All
good,
right.
honest.
And give me a
So
second
it's
while I write down because I have bad memory. I don't want to forget how many questions you're on. So go.
Yeah.
So
Well,
no,
no, we can only be yes or no questions, so we can't ask what console it's on. I mean,
correct.
we could say like, is it Xbox or?
if,
But we can't.
if,
There's not too
Yeah.
many consoles.
Hey, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and the chat can help you
Yeah.
out too. So the chat
Okay.
is able to help you out. So definitely take a look at the
Yeah.
chat
So
because they
not
have questions there
JRPG.
too.
All right. Move.
yo, if you hold on, what we should do, a time period that'll probably narrow it down too.
The time
That's
period.
true.
But
Okay.
we have to figure out a
So
way to narrow down like the time period, like to ask about time periods. You
so
know what I mean? Like,
well, we'll say did it come out after the 2000s?
are we using that as a
Yeah,
question?
I I like that question. That's fine. Yeah, we got
Because that kind of
plenty of.
narrows it down a bit.
All right, so we'll do. Did it come out after 2000?
No.
Oh, okay, so
No.
it's an older
Okay, so
game.
it's an old game. All right,
Right,
All
cool.
right.
right, right.
Right. Oh,
Is
I like that one
oh,
okay.
from Benny.
oh,
Is it an exclusive?
oh, that's a
Is
good
it a
one.
first
Yeah.
party? Is it a first party game? Yeah. Then that
Hmm.
if it is, then we can kind of narrow in console.
Is it a console exclusive?
Oh man, that's hard.
Oh, we're stumping you,
Um.
dude. Like,
I'll give this as a pass and say kind of,
Huh?
and I'll
Okay.
leave it at
Okay.
that. I'll leave it at that. And but this will be a pass because I hmm.
so I think you're
Define
trying to stump
define
us, bro.
console exclusive. Like
How was it? Did it only come out on a singular console? Like, so was it like exclusive to like, let's say like Nintendo or Sega, something like that, one of their consoles?
It'd
okay,
have to be back then.
Yeah. I mean, if it was before 2000, it'd have to be.
so
Right.
If not, then it
because I
basically it did one of the few titles where it was multi-platform.
I
What if
don't
we're talking about like Pac-Man or Space Invaders here? I mean,
I don't. I'm gonna continue with kind of because you're not giving
Okay.
me enough to say yes or no. So we'll stick with kind of.
Okay, does that count as a question since you can't answer it?
No, it won't count as a
Okay.
question. So you
Okay.
can
All
answer.
right.
good stuff. Good
All
stuff.
right.
Good stuff.
Uh,
All right.
so all right, so we're talking about 90s. So should we try to narrow it down within if it came on the 80s or the 90s? Or we could ask,
Mm,
did it come out after 95?
why don't we just go with is it, I mean Sega or Nintendo? Or I guess we'd have to ask one at a
True.
time. But like
Yeah.
Right.
that would really
Oh, yeah. So pre 2000, what came out? So there's Dreamcast, Sega, N64, Super Nintendo.
I think
I don't know.
Xbox came out around that time.
Nah, Xbox came out 2000 something.
Oh, it came out
2001.
Yeah,
2002-ish. So yeah, so not
yeah.
Xbox. So we know that rules out Microsoft.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
So yeah, so it's
I'm
either gonna
trying
be
to.
Sony,
I
Sega,
think.
or Nintendo,
I
or
think
the
James is
three.
trying to stump us, bro. It's probably going to
Unless
be
it's a
on one of those
PC.
handheld.
Unless it's a PC game.
He's trying
What
to
if it's a
stump us.
PC game?
He
Oh
had that
shoot!
handheld game thing that no one had, the X86 or whatever. It's probably a game on that, dude. Like,
Oh man,
Shoot.
this is gonna be fun.
What if it's a PC game? What if he's talking about like Warcraft or like or
Wait,
StarCraft or
that-
something?
Oh,
yeah, I guess that would
hold
say
on.
why it's
Hold
non-exclusive,
on.
right?
James is a real big video game music buff,
Mm.
so it's
So games that actually have good music in it too.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
if we can make that into a question to ask, like,
Don't forget to take a look at the chat and get their input on that too.
So Marty said MMO, but it came up before 2000, and I think the only MMO back then was EverQuest, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
All right, Dylan's got to go. Have a good night, bro.
Yeah,
Thanks
Dylan,
for coming in, man.
Appreciate everything, man. Appreciate the follow.
Okay, so what about if it's multiplayer or single player? Like, is it a multiplayer game?
Yeah, we could do that.
Because if it's because that would rule out like any online games, that would rule out any fighters, any racing games that have multiple people. It would just be a single player game. So, is it a multiplayer game, James?
Is it a multiplayer game?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so
Yeah.
Okay, single
Okay.
player non-JRPG game.
Yeah.
All right, we're getting
Okay.
somewhere. We're getting somewhere.
I mean,
we
do we go with like?
what if we
Okay.
do? I think we should start narrowing down the consoles. How many questions do we have left?
You have quite a lot. You have 16 questions left and a guess. So you got quite a few.
Do we want to?
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I think.
So then,
we're gonna pick between Sega, Nintendo, or
Yeah.
Sony.
What if we start?
Doing franchises?
No, like I think we should start doing like, is it a Nintendo game? Because that was big in the 90s.
Yeah.
So if it's not, it kind of narrows it down to like other things.
Oh, like a Nintendo property versus if it's a Sega property.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Is it a Nintendo property?
Yes.
Yo, it's Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. That's why it's his background.
Is that? Are you guessing the game?
No.
Oh, okay. Okay.
No, I mean we can still ask more questions to zero it in. So we know it's Nintendo. So and it's before 2000.
Marty and David said that it's Ocarina of Time.
Is that what you're
then-
asking at, or?
No,
okay.
I'm just
No.
saying the chat. That's what the
I
chat
mean,
says.
if it's Nintendo, then is it a Zelda property? Is it a Zelda game? One of the Zelda games?
Are you asking that?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah,
that's
that's a
a
fair
question.
question.
That's a fair question. Is it one of the Zelda games?
Yes, it is.
See, all right. So we
no.
so yeah. Now we can just
We're-
nip it down. Like
let's give it a-
in on it.
Give it a second, because an ad is playing right now, so nobody will be able to hear you guys. So,
Okay.
yeah,
well, yeah.
Then busted.
yeah. Let's finish.
All right.
Yo, he gave some subtle clues with his background.
All right. So we've got quite a few to choose from. So if it's before 2000, that's
When did Ocarina of Time come out? 99.
It
yeah,
came out in '98. Awakening
Yeah.
came out in '93. Link to the Past came out in '91. Adventure of Link came out in '87.
yeah.
The original
And
Legend
then-
of Zelda came in '86.
Yeah,
So
and then
did it-
Majora's Mask came out in 2000.
Okay, so
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So did it come
this is-
out in 98?
Yes.
At that point, we should. Oh, it's
No.
the game. That's, the
That's
only
it.
game.
That's it.
It's
That's
gotta
it
be.
then. That's it.
All right.
Is it Oots?
Is the game Legend of Zelda: Ocarina of Time? That's the game.
Yes,
That's my
it
question.
is.
There you
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
It is Ocarina of Time, released in 1998, originally on the Nintendo 64, and then it also came out to GameCube later on in the Master Quest, as well as released in Virtual Console and all that. Which is why when you said, is it an exclusive or console exclusive, I was like, kind of, because yes, it released exclusively on 64, but it since then it's been ported across a bunch of other ones. So yeah. Good job. Good job.
Right.
Yeah. So I wanted to have
We did
something.
that pretty quick. Like,
Hey, you want to do
how many
another one?
questions we got
I
left?
had a second game. You had 13 questions left. And
Oh,
a
we
guess.
did good, boys.
Yeah.
We did good.
Yeah, it would really make it suspenseful if we did it in 10.
Yeah.
Right? It'd be a challenge.
No,
Well,
definitely.
you need to keep that in the back burner. Know how many questions we got to that one. So when we do this again, we're gonna see if we can beat that record.
No, definitely. So like I had talked with Mike a while back, and I told him I wanted to do something fun, like a game show type of thing. And one of them was actually to guess the music, which I'm gonna do for a YouTube video, possibly. But like on the podcast, I was like, he's like, hey, on the podcast, why don't you try it one of these days? I was like, cool, and I was like, you know what? Why don't we try it today? And that's why I put special, because I didn't want nobody else to know what we were doing, not even Mike or Ben, because I didn't want you guys to research it.
I'm
But
down
actually-
for doing it.
But actually, my background being Zelda has nothing to do with it, because this was actually what I was streaming the other day, and I have put that as a background.
Well, so the
Oh,
only
yeah, I was in
reason
there for that.
Yeah.
I knew you were streaming that the other day, that's why I'm like, all right, bro, like I'm gonna start narrowing this down.
So there is another game that I had on there. Do you guys want to do one more, or do you guys have time for one more? Because we can do one more, because you guys got that
Oh,
pretty
I don't
quick.
care. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah. Let's,
Yeah, we can do one more.
all right. Let's do one last one, and actually, we'll tally up the points. And if everybody watching, if you guys like the video game 20 questions thing, we'll do it. I want to give a shout out to where it originated from, which is Game Scoop podcast. That IGN does. They actually do video game 20 questions. It's pretty fun. And a lot of times I go through, it's like, man, this is easy. I can guess these guys. But
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of the there's a YouTube channel. It's called Actually. This is actually kind of what it reminds me of.
I want to give a shout out to Marty and David because they're the ones who called it first in the chat.
All right, are you guys ready for the next one?
Of course.
And yeah,
You should get some you should have some game show music playing when we do this.
We'll see. I'll make it look pretty, because I still want to work on our background overlay and make that look pretty too. It just takes time. But yeah, we'll go ahead with round 2 of video game 20 questions. And I do have the game already. Let me actually get all that information real quick.
Check the reflection of the glasses.
I know. I was like,
cheating.
let me look over here so you guys don't see that. But yeah, you guys can start asking the question. Let me
You know what we should do, bro? We should play this, and if anyone gets in the chat, we should give away prizes. If anyone in the chat gets it.
All right, let the questioning begin.
All right, so we're just starting off. All right, so should we do the 2000 question again to narrow it down to a decade?
I'm gonna take off my glasses so you guys don't see the reflection.
I was kidding. I was.
Yeah, I think that's a good question to ask, because whichever way you go, because 2000 is like a good, because if you go 2000, then we know it's within the last 20 plus years. If it's before then, still games have been like 70s, 80s, 90s. That's still within 30, 40 years. So
I think we should limit it to like 2010.
Oh, so should we do? Did it come out after 2010?
Well, no, I'm saying like from 2000 to 2010, just so that we're not dealing with so many games, because games have really put a lot more frequently. And then
so you're asking, so you want to ask him, did it come between that range, within that decade?
Right.
Okay.
We should, yeah, we can do that. So did it come out between 2000 and 2010?
No.
Ooh,
Okay.
Juicy.
So it's either a recent game or an older game at that point.
Okay. So we should do, okay. We should ask if it came out before 2000, because then that'll eliminate a time period.
Yeah.
Did it come out before 2000?
Yes.
Oh,
Okay.
again. All right.
All right.
Right.
Older game. Okay.
Okay.
Well,
All right. So we're
Is it
talking
a-
about.
Is it a Sega game?
No.
Okay.
not
Oh, that
Sonic.
eliminates
Okay.
Sonic. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
He's trying to not be predictable.
All right. So it's either Nintendo or Sony at that point.
Marty
I don't think it
says
would-
by Marty says by generation.
Hmm.
Oh, One-Eyed Willie said Metroid.
You know what? I'm gonna shut off the chat. That's not just kidding.
I mean, that's a valid question. Is it a Metroid property game? Because if it's not Sega, then we know it's either
Right.
Nintendo or Sony.
Well, instead of asking if it's Metroid, we should ask if it's Nintendo again. 'Cause that eliminates a whole bunch of games.
Yeah.
So, is it a Nintendo property?
No.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Like,
So it could be a Sony game.
so
It could be
it's
a
not,
PS.
It's not. It's not Sega, and it's not Nintendo. So that leaves kind of narrows it down a little
I mean,
bit.
technically, it could be Final Fantasy VII if you think about it, because Final Fantasy VII came out in '97. It's a Sony game.
Right.
So-
or we can ask: is it a Final Fantasy game?
Yeah, we can do that.
Are you asking that question?
Yeah.
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 No.
So it's not a Final Fantasy franchise. Okay.
Ooh, okay. We could do. So we asked if it's a Nintendo and a Sega exclusive. I feel like the only thing is we need to see if it's a Sony property.
It's got to be. It has to be a Sony game.
Right.
You think? Okay. So we should ask if it's the JRPG again. No? Yeah?
Are you asking?
No.
Oh. Are you asking?
No,
or
no,
are you-
no. We're talking.
Yeah.
Just
I think if we ask if it's a Sony game, then we can kind of narrow on whether it's a JRPG or not.
Yeah? Is it
Yeah.
a Sony game?
By Sony game, are you saying like is it developed by Sony or?
Or is
Did
it
it come
a
out on the PlayStation? Did it come out on the PlayStation?
Yes.
Is it a place? Okay.
Okay.
All right. So
So
what
it's a
JRPG
PlayStation
games came
game.
out?
Yeah.
And-
So it's a hold on. So it's a PlayStation game.
That was
But there's
definitely
a lot of games that came out on the
There's-
PlayStation. Like,
yeah. So is it an
So-
RPG game?
No.
All right. So that
Ooh.
that cuts out all your JRPG right there.
it's Crash
When did
Bandicoot.
the-
Oh, Marty just said it. I just thought it too.
Yeah.
Marty said Crash Bandicoot.
Sounds like
I mean-
a good guess.
So is it a hold on?
So it's, I mean,
When did the first Uncharted come out?
Oh
oh
no, that
no,
was
it's,
like
that was like
no, that was way
yeah,
way, way,
that's
way.
way
I'm trying to-
yeah.
Hold on.
Uncharted's
where-
a fairly new game.
We're
I
like
mean-
talking about '90s PlayStation.
Yeah,
Like,
mean-
sorry. I was
I mean, you might be thinking of Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider came out around then, possibly. The original Tomb Raider.
Yo, One-Eyed Willie said it's Crash Bandicoot too. Like PS3 onward. No, he said it came out in the '90s on PlayStation, so it has to be a PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah.
Because PlayStation 2 came out in 2000, correct? Yeah, 2001. Or yeah.
Are you asking me that question?
No. Wait, yeah, PlayStation 2 came out in the 2000s, right? Anyone know?
It could be like. It could be like.
No. Oh, new rule.
Oh, no,
You can't use your devices to look it up. That's cheating.
So, does anyone know when the PlayStation 2 came out?
You can use the chat. I'll let you use the chat, but you can't use devices.
Well, if he says
No.
before, if he says this before 2000, it's definitely not the PS2. Like if it's
that's what-
before
that's what
2000,
I'm-
it's definitely not the PS2.
yeah.
So it has to be a
I can't
PlayStation 1
remember.
game.
I mean,
Did the
specifically.
PS2 come out in '99 or no? It
No,
had to
no,
come
no,
out-
no, no, no.
Yeah.
I mean,
No,
it
no.
could be like a Resident Evil game, right?
Oh, that's a good one.
It could, yeah, because because Resident Evil did come out on the
Is it a Resident Evil game?
Yes.
like franchise. Yeah,
Ah,
ooh.
yeah, I got it.
Let's go.
Okay, so it's either 1 or Code Veronica
Or two.
or 2. It's one of those 3.
Well, because 3 was released in 1999, so like it was. Yeah, I mean, I guess it could be 1, 2, or 3.
I think it's Veronica.
Yeah, because we talked about it
I think
like
it's
recently.
Veronica.
Yeah.
Is it Resident Evil Veronica?
Are you asking? Because if you ask, you will. Are you?
Should we narrow it down?
I don't think I. I don't think I've. I'm gonna give you a free pass and say no. I'm gonna use it as a question, but the next time if you guess the game, it ends the game. Okay.
Okay.
So it's not
Oh, okay,
Resident Evil
okay.
Code Veronica.
Okay.
All right.
So it's either 1, 2, or 3. Okay. All right.
I don't know the
So-
year those came out at, so I have
right.
no idea, dude. Like,
Yeah.
Oh,
it's
well, hold on. I have
fault,
an
my
idea.
fault for that. I'm sorry. I should have said that. That if you do answer the
Okay.
game or ask the game and get it wrong, it ends the game and you.
All right.
Okay.
So
All right. So
I have a way to ask
is
this.
it
Hold
a,
on.
is so my, well the way I would ask it is it a sequel? Is it one of the Resident Evil sequel games?
Or we could ask, is it the first of the franchise?
That's true.
See,
Yeah.
It's one-
and then-
either one
and
of those
then-
questions will work.
Yeah.
Either one of those
We
questions
have
will
so
work.
many questions. We have so many questions.
Yeah.
so-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it the first game in the franchise?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yeah. So is it Resident Evil, the game, the first one?
Are you sure you want to answer that?
I mean,
Or you
wouldn't that be
wanna
the
ask
first of the
that, rather?
franchise?
Oh, jeez.
Was there another Resident Evil game that I don't know about before the first?
Yeah. He's messing with us, bro. I don't think there was another Resident
Yeah.
Evil, dude.
No, I
That
don't
was
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my question.
That's it.
That's what we're
it.
guessing.
all right.
We're
Yep,
guessing
yep,
it's
we're
the
guessing
first
the
one,
game.
Resident Evil 1.
the one that was on the PlayStation 1 and with horrible controls and camera angles.
Yes, it is Resident Evil.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Resident Evil 1 released in
Yo.
1996. Resident Evil 1 originally released on PlayStation and then of course was available on other consoles in the future. Yeah. That was actually it was between those two. And real quick before I continue, One Eye Willie, I'm not exactly sure why your command is not working. Hold on.
Yo.
Oh, I
2
spelled
for
that
2,
wrong.
bro.
Let me see. Can you guys try typing in One-Eyed Willie's name? Cause
Yeah, hold up.
I mean, it's
let me see. Let me try it again. There we go. I got it to work. Yeah.
okay.
All right. I got it to work, Willie. So I don't know why it was doing that. But yeah, originally released in 1996, the first Resident Evil, aka Biohazard in Japan, which I believe me and Marty has some words on it in one of his streams how we were talking about it. Yeah, it was actually one of my favorite games. It actually spooked me back then, and I fell in love with the franchise from there. I remember my dad had to beat it first before I even tried beating it because it was scary at the time. But yeah, you got it within 10 questions. So good job.
I
think maybe
Marty
you should
called it.
limit it to that.
Say it again.
Oh, Marty called.
Yeah, who called
ahead,
it? Someone
Grover.
did call it.
Marty called Resident Evil 2 way back in the beginning. Like,
Yeah.
He was close. He was
It was
close.
close, yeah. Oh, he called in Resident Evil Village. The Duke was the bad guy. Oh, I gotta play the DLC. I haven't played it yet. But yeah, appreciate everybody joining us for the podcast. If you guys did you guys enjoy it? I mean, do you guys want to do this every podcast? What do you think?
we can switch it up. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we can end the
That'd be
podcast with that. I'll have a new game. If you guys want to go ahead and submit a game, go ahead and DM me on Discord, and I'll take all your suggestions, and I'll mention your name too, and let you know, and tell them to go ahead and give you a follow also on your Twitch channel if you do have a Twitch channel. And if not, I'll still say your name and say who it's from.